mind you can't control. Running wild, can't calm down. My head is in the clouds. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away. So I close my eyes and lose myself now. Do it like it's only today. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. For a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. For a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. I'm on my last straw. I'm broken and I'm woken up. I'm done feeding your lies. I've had enough. I can't run your place in this faulty game. And all the words you speak mean nothing more to me. 'Cause let's start over now. Rewind. And I won't let you go. I need you by my side.
Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. cause you don't know how. You say we're taking on water, yeah, we're sinking now. You're looking all concerned, like we're gonna drown. But we both know how to swim, no worries as we'll fall now. Let's take it slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow, who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. I drag you out your mind, and there are days I hate you, but baby, you're still mine. And we have the best times, no matter what we do. And even when we don't, there's nobody I'd rather choose. Let's take it slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Slow, who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow, who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me.
Well, hello everyone. It's good to see you all. Thank you so much for joining me. Today is June 21st, 2024. It is 4:10 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. Thank you all so much for joining me. It's hot out there, isn't it? Everyone's saying that it's hot today. It's hot, hot, hot outside. So um Jude, where you been, honey? You're sick? What's wrong? You okay? We've been thinking about you. Hope you feel better. Love you guys too. Love you. Hello, hello, everyone. 90s. Yeah, it's hot. It's hot. I hope you feel better soon, Jude. So I was just live like 30 minutes ago. This is our second live today. I may be live again even later this evening. We're going to be talking about a case later. A girl disappeared in Arizona, and it's an interesting case. Still nothing. a year later. All right. So, what we're going to be talking about is the Sebastian Rogers case. We're not letting up. We're still going to talk about it. I'm going to be doing other cases, but we can't let this go. Um, After I watched News Nation uh, yesterday or day before yesterday, I just couldn't let it go. I felt so bad for Seth. He's not perfect, but I feel really bad for him. And, he said that the parents, that, Katie and Chris didn't feel like it was, what word was it? He used as a mutual, that they were all looking, in it together. And he didn't feel like it was that. And he said, it's just me and Sebastian's army. And I thought, damn, I can't. I can't. Oh, Holly, you are so sweet to me. Thank you so much. Thank you, dear. I guess we got to start the paperwork soon. Let me get my paperwork because we're going to have to do. You know what we're going to have to do? An application process.
This is a Brooklyn-bound 2 express train. The next stop
Beep beep,
is
mother
Fulton
chickens.
Street.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
The lesser fight. My body aches to be satisfied. My weakness comes and goes. My weakness comes and goes.
Congratulations to the new 5 Pearl members. If you received a pearl necklace, what a treat from Holly. Please give her a big, big thank you from both of us. Thank you, Holly. Very sweet of you. And your application is approved. Welcome. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. The depravity on display by the Proudfoots for putting Seth through this is incredible. Do they have no compassion at all? Right. I understand. I understand. Thank you, my dear. So last night I was thinking about other cases and how usually there is truth when it comes to, even though there can, at first, let me just say this. The police have said that there is no indication of anything, and that the Proudfoots and Seth have all been cooperating with authorities. So I want to say that. But these are just my opinions, what I'm saying. And a lot of us have kind of really gave a side eye to Katie and Chris, mainly because of the story that they have given us. But I was looking through other cases and doing some reading last night, and when people lie, they generally tell you some threads of truth in the story, right? And then they will either generally downplay to a severe degree of, making it seem like it wasn't a big deal, nothing happened, everything was fine. But there is threads of truth because that is the structure of the story. So, you know, when they do that, that is what they build off of, right? But they just give you the minor details, right? And for instance, she heard a thud. Well, that thud it could be just a thud, or it could be something that he collapsed, Sebastian collapsed for reasons of, for instance, medication, right? For being, potentially assaulted, hit. It could be a number of reasons. And so, thank you, R. Douglas. I wonder if Seth was chased by KP and or CP to the drainage pond, then picked up. The shirt is pure fire, bro. Thank you so much, R. Douglas. Um, I just don't. I've called, and they will tell you. You can also call the Sumner County Emergency Management. They will tell you. The news will tell you as well. I might have it here somewhere. That there is just and there's people that disagree with me with this, and you're absolutely welcome to. Um, that there is no indication that Sebastian was at the pond, right? And it's just one of those things. You know, do you take the transmission audio that was, earlier when Sebastian went missing, or do you take what they said later and that was not a hit, and that there's been no indication? I mean, could he have been chased? Maybe, but I would think that the thing is, I think that there would have been a scent, and if there wouldn't have been a scent, there would have been, and there wasn't, according to authorities. There was a false scent, and there would have been him on camera. And I'm sure Sebastian would have not been quiet while if he was running. That's just my opinion, though. Now, I understand people's like, well, authorities lied about, it's a trash truck. Well, they actually never said it was a trash truck. Seth said that they said it was a trash truck, and they showed him that it was a trash truck. So there's that. I mean, where the dogs jumped in. Yes, that's what I mean, R. Douglas. The authorities say that that was a false hit, and that there has been no scent at all of Sebastian, no indication that he left the house. And they were, from what I understand, also the dogs are the dog that jumped in the water was, someone said that they were narcotics dogs too, and that there could have been traces of medications in the water. Someone spilled their medicine, or medicine fell in. I don't know. I don't know. But they dug it out. There's nothing to indicate, according to employees, that there was any sort of scent of Sebastian's. Why did they drain the retention pond? That's a good question. That is a very good question. Why did they drain the retention pond? They went to look. And that, again, I understand that's a good question. Um, I don't know why they say it's a false hint. I mean, allegedly 3 dogs hit out of like 10 or 13. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, which one do you believe? Do you believe that, you know, the 7 dogs that didn't, or 3 dogs that did? Do you believe what the police are saying, that there is no indication that he left? Because they would say, in my opinion, that there is indication that he left. Because if there was a scent all the way over there, they would say, we have evidence that he left. Right? That's what you would think. So I personally think that there's not a scent at all. Like I said, you can call yourself. They will tell you if you ask local law enforcement, or you can call the Sumner County Emergency Management. They will tell you also. You are late? Melissa, to the office, please. Melissa, to the office. You're being paged. Late slip for Melissa G. I don't believe there were 10 to 13 dogs, because usually you don't bring. I don't think there was 10 dogs at one time. I think it was, throughout probably the first few days. Yes, guys, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up button, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. But anyways, Mimi's not late. Not late today. Hey, Butterfly. So anyways, going over what we were talking about, or I was speaking about just a minute ago, I really believe when someone is lying, they many times give you the plot of the story, the frame of the story, but they make it to where everything is downplayed to make them look like they're, in my opinion, innocent. This is anybody, right? That's lying over something big, or nothing happened at all, but we did hear a thud, that kind of thing. And so I was doing some reading and looking at some other cases last night. And one thing I was thinking about with Katie, we know that Sebastian I did not say thank you, my dear. To the family. Appreciate your support. Pearls look amazing on you. Thank you so much, my dear. Appreciate you. Um, but I was thinking about Katie and how Katie, in the beginning, she changed her story a bit, right? About bedtime. Bedtime. It's this theme that is going across, right, about bedtime. And she says Sebastian went to bed at 9 o'clock, right? But around 10 o'clock, what was the first thing she said? On Duchess. Does anyone remember? I can pull up my notes. Um, I know she did not mention the thud at that time. She did not mention the thud. Let me pull up my notes here. I've still got to make a video on this. Let's see here. Duchess. Okay, Katie. She had a good weekend. They said they had a good weekend. Sebastian doesn't play outside much. Let me find it. Okay. Chris states that Katie and himself were on the phone from 9:43. Let me show y'all this. These are the notes from. I was typing 90 miles an hour on this one. Okay. So, whoops, it is. All right. 9:43 9:43 to 9:46 call logs have been verified. This is what Chris is saying. Per Chris, he says the phone call was lengthy. Says mom started to, he said, slightly fall asleep on the couch. Chris states it's okay, put the dogs up and go to bed. Chris states that right around midnight or just before midnight, mom went in to check on her son. Sorry. No. I should have. It's okay. Put the dogs up and go to sleep. And then Chris says right around midnight or just before midnight. And then he says the next morning, mom goes in to check on her son to get him ready for school. And then Chris says, now we have a worried mom who can't find her son. Mom searches several times. Pardon my misspelled words and stuff. I haven't edited it yet. I was typing 90 miles an hour while I was live. All right. Now, Chris states that mom, Katie, calls him, meaning Chris, and says, I cannot find him. Chris states that he makes the phone call because, quote, that's what we're supposed to do. And within 10 minutes, the sheriff is at the house. Katie says he doesn't have social media. Okay, so that is the first story of Katie, right? That, well, Katie didn't actually speak there. Chris did most of the speaking, but that's, Chris did not mention a thud whatsoever at all on the first interview with Duchess. Didn't mention anything other than putting the dogs up and can't find Sebastian and the time frame. All right. Let me see if they say it more on the interview. Chris says he's not a child who likes to get dirty or anything. They keep their phones locked down. Okay. Now, anyway, Katie says in one of the interviews, Bubba, knock it off and go to sleep. Knock it off and go to sleep. Now, I think Sebastian might have been very wired here, very amped up. And then in another interview, in Nancy Grace's interview, Katie said she was studying. That's the first time we ever heard that she was studying. And we all were like, well, finally nice you tell us, change your story again. Change your story again, right? Uh, but then there was, Bubba, did you fall out of bed? And Sebastian said, no, ma'am. Right. And then Katie said, I don't know if it was that same time or another time, that I don't care what you're doing in there, but knock it off and go to sleep. Right? Knock it off and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. She is in every single interview that she's talking about. It's knock it off and go to sleep. I don't care what you're doing, but which doesn't make sense. I don't care what you're doing, but go to sleep. Well, then you do care what he's doing. If he's not asleep, right? You don't care what he's doing, but go to sleep. So I'm wondering if the theme in there, was she studying for a test? Was she exhausted? Was he extra wired? Mike, a lot of people ask me that. Was 11:30 ever mentioned? And they're like, yeah, she mentioned 11:30 in one. And I'm thinking, I don't know where that is. She may have, but I don't recall. So I don't know if there was an 11:30. I know people talk about it, but I don't know if that's just one of the things where, it's just a rumor and people just say it because someone else repeats it. Was her and Chris fighting? Right? There was talks of splitting up allegedly, and there's custody, things going on. Chris wants out the house. There's financial, all different things going on in the house. Right? Is it possible that Katie could have been drinking and he was so wired he wasn't going to sleep? Maybe the medicine didn't work on him that day, right? Maybe she didn't give it enough time. So, did she get frustrated and say, because it's always knock it off and go to sleep. I don't care what you're doing in there, but go to sleep. That's the only thing, that's the only communication that she tells us that they exchange together, other than love you puppies, right? Love you puppies and something else. Love you puppies and knock it off and go to sleep and no ma'am. That's it. That's the only communication. And I believe, in my opinion, that there is something there. She doesn't say, I love you back, right? In this, he just says, oh, love you, mama, love you, puppies. That's what it is. She doesn't say, I told him I love you back or anything. But the only thing, the only communication that she really tells us about most of the day is that They woke up. Well, that's not really even a communication. She says, I'm just going back here to think. That really is the only communication that we know. She never tells us what, they talked about while they were eating, while they were at BJ's, while they were playing games. She doesn't tell us what happened during those times. It is just right at bedtime. The thud, right? Bubba, did you fall out of bed? I heard a thud. Well, she is saying, and nobody brings this point up, but you got to think about it. She is saying that she spoke to him, she spoke to him after the thud. She heard the thud. Yeah, no positive conversation. There's no positive conversation. She spoke to him after the thud. Thud. Bubba, did you fall out of bed? No, ma'am. All right, well, settle down in there and go to sleep. I mean, if he is able to say, no, ma'am, that would be fine. He would be fine. Right. Not, oh my God, I hurt myself, anything like this. He said, no, ma'am, fine, whatever. That is the only conversation we hear about the two exchanging a conversation. And I believe she is giving us, in my opinion, threads of truth. I mean, you're saying that from the time you got home, what time did they get home? Close to 7 o'clock, right? Well, he didn't go to bed till 9 o'clock. That's 2 hours of before bed. Y'all didn't talk for 2 hours in the house? That's odd. Right? Law enforcement says no proof he went without shoes now. Says no proof he went without shoes. Well, I mean, Chris and Katie said that he went without his shoes. Nobody's missing a pair of shoes. I feel the thud is her guilty conscience. I do too. I do believe that there was something, a thud, but it was something that happened in that house. I believe he took the garbage out. It was right around the time they got home. It wasn't too long, was it? Maybe it was 8, maybe an hour. What was she doing before bed? Watching TV, reading a book, playing a game, none of that. Correct. It was Sunday night. Yes, Sunday night. Here, let me. Did where did you see that law enforcement says what's going on, Mike? I don't know. Who said that about the shoe thingy? Where did you see that at? All right, so Katie said this is the second interview. This is when they're sitting there. This is the arm scratch with Chris in the blue shirt. Chris, let me see here. It won't stop this with Katie. Katie says they were out and about that day. We were having a really good weekend. Katie got home, everything pretty normal. He was playing in his room, Katie says. Katie told him to go to bed. He did. That's when she laughs, right? I told him to go to bed. He did. The hell was that? Sounds like Michael Jackson. Sorry. Never understood that. Let me find this. Katie told him to go to bed. He did. Said goodnight, Mom. I love you. Said goodnight to his puppies. Katie, a little while later, I ended up going to bed. A little while later. Now, a little while later is a little while later 3 hours. And Katie says, when I woke him up for school, he wasn't there. Katie, 6 a.m. went to wake him up. Katie took a second to look around. He may have tried to make breakfast or something, Katie says. Katie, 3 minutes later, she's on the phone with her husband, Chris, saying, can't find him. Katie says, Chris says, what do you mean you can't find him? Katie replies, he's not in the house. Guys, sorry about that. I haven't, my spelling, this is terrible. I was typing 90 miles an hour because I was live. Katie says she looked outside, inside, in closets. Chris, I was at work. I'm a crane operator. And he says he was at St. Jude in Memphis. Chris says he was confused and talked I think he means talk to where or asked where he could possibly be. Katie, he's not a runner. He's never ran away before. Katie, I don't know why he walked out that door. Now, that to me does not sound like an abduction. In other times, she's trying to make it sound like, in my opinion, in the beginning, it was he walked out that door. And then Nancy Grace asked, what do you think happened to him? Your theory. Nancy said that, right? And exactly right, Tori. 3 minutes and you're already on the phone with Chris? Hey, TS. Justin, Glitch and Pearls, I swear there's an interview. She says she called Chris after driving around. But here she says he's not in the house. Huh. I don't know. Right. Calling after 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Now, Katie replies, he's not in this house. Katie says she looked outside, inside, in the closets. Chris, I was at work. I'm a crane operator. And says he was at St. Jude. Chris says he was confused because he was talking in, two different ears. That's where he says that. He's not a runner. He never would be. I don't know why he walked out the door. Katie says she's been combing over the day and even the weeks before. I wonder what that means. Even the weeks before. Because the next thing that comes out of Katie's mouth, what had been happening the weeks before in that house? Well, Sebastian was supposed to leave, go move in with his dad. She's been combing through her head. What ifs, whatever. But I wonder, this is, to me, I hear it. But then what she associates the next thing, Chris was not there at this time. But I wonder, I have been combing over the day and even weeks before Katie says, I haven't been able to figure it out. And then she says, the next thing, guys, if there's a troll in there, just block them. Don't, just immediate block. If they can't be respectful, then just block them. It would have made more sense if we were fighting. It would have made more sense if we were fighting. Been combing through this of the days and weeks. It would have been made more sense if we were fighting. In my opinion, that's leaking. She's leaking right there. Okay. All right. Oh, I saw this morning. Here, we're going to go over this. I think, yeah, True Sleuth, I think that there had been fighting. It would have made more sense if we were fighting. You said I've been combing through it for the weeks leading up. I'm
For most.
in that house, in my opinion. Absolutely. Emmy Joe to the office, please. Emmy Joe to the office. You're being paged. Late slip for Emmy Joe to the office, please, and thank you. Okay. Let's listen to Mr. Bear.
Founding mysteries. Summer Wells and Sebastian Rogers both vanished without a trace, but their Amber Alerts remain in effect. It was 3 years ago this month that 5-year-old Summer vanished from her home in Hawkins County in East Tennessee. That is a long time for a missing child.
The longer you go, it is less likely that you're going to have a successful recovery.
Listen to
About
this.
1% of children survive longer than 24 hours. And so you're
1% of children survive longer than 24 hours. That is very disturbing. That's why time is of the essence. This is a former retired TBI. We are at like 120 days now.
we're hoping that Summer Wells is going to be that 1%er. She's going to be a 1%er.
That was Margie Quinn talking in the
I
days
played this
after
about
Summer
Summer.
disappeared. Quinn had headed up the TBI's Amber Alert program and says time matters. We saw the massive search effort firsthand as Sky 5 flew over crews on the ground. Nothing was ever found, and to date, more than 6,000 tips have been called into the TBI, and they have produced no new leads. Most agree it's unlikely Summer just wandered away and was more likely the victim of foul play.
Neighbors are going to be interviewed. Sex offenders in the area are going to be interviewed. Anybody with a likelihood to have committed this kind of crime.
Authorities have done the same in the Sebastian Rogers case. The 15-year-old vanished more than 4 months ago from his Hendersonville home. In that case, too, investigators think it's unlikely the teen with autism just wandered away on his own with little or no scent detected by canines. Any evidence of foul play?
Hold on, what did he say there?
Likely the teen with autism just wandered 4 months ago from his Hendersonville home. In that case, too, investigators think it's unlikely the teen with autism just wandered away on his own with little or no scent detected by canines. Any evidence of foul play?
We have not cleared anyone, but we have absolutely no evidence to support foul play.
The first thing he says is, we haven't cleared anyone, but we have no evidence of foul play.
Yet, anyway.
Yet.
Though those close to the case say that now is the most likely scenario.
So people close to Nick, close to the investigation, have said that is the most likely scenario, that there is foul play. Okay.
But there is simply no evidence of anything in either case. Now, I do know that authorities right now are looking into two new leads in Sebastian's case, including another possible sighting in East Tennessee. But to date, nothing has led to any substantial new leads. Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
So 2 new leads. One about a potential sighting in East Tennessee. Diane, thank you so much, my dear. Appreciate it. I don't believe a word that comes out of her mouth. I understand that. Yeah. What is TBI doing? It's a criminal investigation since March 11th as... Yeah, they are saying that it is much more likely than not a criminal investigation. They started that, I would shortly, I think about 5 days after Sebastian went missing. That's when they kind of started turning things around. This was their first interview. Hold on. Oh, that's deception. Excuse me, someone just sent me Deception Detective. Okay. Nick Barris reported a posting sighting in East Tennessee. It starts at 1:50. This was yesterday. Okay. So let's see. Is there anything else in... Typically, a case is not considered closed until after several years a child goes missing. Anything else? We saw massive search efforts firsthand as Sky 5 flew over crews on the ground. Nothing was ever found, and to date, more than 6,000 tips. Okay, that's Summer Wells. However, those close to the case say that now it is more likely a scenario, meaning foul play. But still, they say there is no evidence either way, which is literally what they say in the Summer Wells case. That has been 3 years. That has been 3 years. Is it true that a parent can be charged after 7 years? I mean, it depends on what you're being charged with, right? If you're being charged with, for instance, I'm not just saying in this case, I'm saying, murder doesn't really usually have a statute of limitations at all. So that usually doesn't have anything to do with it. We'll play some Deception Detective. That's fine. We'll play it. Now, last night, Brittany was speaking about a PI, and this PI said that they now have confirmed evidence that Chris was at work at 7 a.m. when he started work, and that there is absolutely no way that Chris could have been in Hendersonville. And my question to that is, A, I'd like to see some receipts for that. And B, if he was, I don't think he could have been in. I think if he was at work at 5 o'clock, 5:15, I think he probably was never in Hendersonville. But I also think, and I would like to know, where was Chris Sunday? Where was he Sunday whenever, before everything? Because that's the question. Was he at mommy's? Because they want to know still yet, even today, about Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening. Now, Chris says that's information that we can't tell you about. Well, you weren't there. And why? Are they looking for something? Apparently. Thank you so much, Truth Salute, my love. Justin, one of the earliest news reports says that there was no scent either inside or outside the house. That is impossible. If there is no scent inside the house, then there was a massive cleanup, in my opinion. Yeah, he would have to. There has to be a scent of him inside. Do you think they meant like in the yard or anywhere else? Or did they mean really inside? Justin, Chris could drive wee hours of Monday morning to get there 2.5 hours. It is longer than 2.5 hours. I think Chris was at his mommy's, pick up the niece, aunts. It's more than 3 hours, 26 minutes, Chris says, door to door. I am told that it's 3. Chris can make it in 3 hours and 6 minutes. 3 hours and 6 minutes. I know that another creator was saying that there was that they could make it in like 2. That they were going to try to make the trip in 2.5 hours, and she came out today and said that, it was different information or something like that. There's no way. I mean, if it's a 3.5 hour trip, there is not a shortcut in the world that could make you do it an hour shorter. Like, how could there's just not a shortcut short enough. Chris times it door to door. He says 3 hours 26 minutes door to door. In my opinion, I think CP drove to Hendersonville and arrived at midnight, and something happened. Other people are on the flashlight video. Sebastian was out garage door at 6:10 a.m. I think Sebastian was out of the door at 3 a.m. I used to think he was out of the garage for a long time. I do believe they were in the garage, in my opinion, from what I've gather at some point. But I do believe that Sebastian was out of that house by 3:10 or so. We did these theories. We did some on this channel, but mainly on the other channel. And so if Chris was there by 4, 5, 6, it really depends. Like, if he was there at 11:30, for instance, because they said they got off the phone just before midnight. 11:30, if he was there. 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, 5:30, 6. I mean, it is going to be it's going to be a very small window frame. Terry Lynn did it at 2 hours and 57 minutes at night. Okay. Yeah, see, I think that could, yeah. I think you could probably cut off 30 minutes. Yeah. That's a little more than 30 minutes. It just depends how fast you're going and all of that, right? It's just going to depend how fast you're going. People who live there said 2.5 hours from Memphis to Hendersonville. It's no, Pickle Toast Grandma. That's the I've looked at every route that you can do. And that's right. You can shave 30 minutes off. You cannot shave an hour off a 3.5 hour trip. You just can't. And I mean, so, well, hers is 2 hours and 57 minutes, right? It's 3 hours. It's 3 hours. She, basically took 30 some minutes off. Where I would like to I drive slow, or at least I monitor the speed limits. I don't think Chris would be driving slow. I don't think Chris would probably drive slow either way. You know. But you could probably do it, if you were busting butt to get there in 3 hours, sure. That you probably could in the middle of the night, absolutely. But I don't think you're going to be able to shave a full hour off, right? Let's look at this. Actions, let's see here. What's their Stafford, 108 Stafford, Hendersonville, and let's see here, Memphis, Tennessee, 3 hours, 26 minutes to Memphis. From their door to Memphis, it's 3 hours and 26 minutes. Right? 108 Stafford to Memphis, 3 hours, 26 minutes, 229 miles. Right there. Now, this weighs 4 hours and 42 minutes. I mean, you can probably, let me see here. So you could probably do it in 3 hours for sure. Yeah. Definitely do it in 3 hours. I don't know when people say I took the back roads or whatever. Like, you can play around with it. That's 3 hours and 53 minutes. So that makes, a longer time. What the hell I'm doing here? Done screwed it up. See, I mean, you can. How do you delete? I don't know how you do it, but you can mess with it. That's on the speed limit, right? And nobody does the speed limit, do they? Does anyone do the speed limit? I don't. I'm always at least 15 miles over. Can do it. Okay, let's how many miles was it? Let's do that. Hold on one second. One second. Watch this. If you were doing 80 miles an hour and it's 226 miles. Let me check it. How many miles? I'm doing some math here. One second. 229 miles. What's the speed limit there? All right. They are assuming. Okay, well, that's doing 80 miles an hour. 229 miles. Yeah, that's at 80 miles an hour. Do the math. Yep. It's 3 hours. That says would be 2 hours and 51 minutes. Like that, wouldn't it? Hold on. Let's check this out. Let me see here. Let me ask. Let me ask Chat GPT. So that would be, yes, at 80 miles. No, I don't want 60 miles an hour. I want 80 miles an hour. 2.8625 hours. 8.625, 51. So it would be 2 hours, 52 minutes. That can't be right. Interstate limit is 65. It's slow. You gotta be at least 70. Damn. I mean, I would think, yeah, 80 miles an hour is very feasible. Yes. I think it depends where you're at, but usually 70. If the road is wet from rain. Yeah. It wasn't raining that night, though. Yes, guys, get those thumbs up. If we get to 1,000 likes, we have a party. I wonder if Chris had a female friend in the area. According to people very close to the camp site area, and when I say close, I mean very close, they said that they never seen another woman at Chris's place. And they also said that they never seen Katie there either. Yes, pickle toes. You can be out, especially in West Texas, and you can be doing 100 on those long straight stretches, and it feels like you're doing like 50. You're like, what? Maybe traffic because it was Monday morning, people going to work. Yeah, I mean, maybe on the way back. I want to know, was there 3 people there? Or was there 2? I mean, 3 adults. When I say 3 adults, 3 adults. Or was there 2? We only see 2 flashlights. Could Chris have picked him up at 3 in the morning went straight to work. Took him to the truck, in the truck, kept him in the truck, or perhaps the motorhome. And is that why he needed to get back to the motorhome so quick? I wonder about that. I just want to know where Chris was Sunday, where he was Sunday evening. Happy Friday, Pearls. It is Friday, girlfriend. Yes, it is. Put a 1 in the chat if you are subscribed to Deception Detective. Because if you're not, put a 2 if you're not. And if you're not, you're doing yourself a real disservice. Because Deception Detective is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Someone wants me to play this. All right. Well, I'm going to drop Deception Detective in the description right now. Deception Detective is only 3 of the people that do behavioral analysis on YouTube that I actually believe in their work, like, because they are not afraid. Here's Deception Detective's link for the chat. Make sure you're subbed up to him. He's a wonderful. Can't give him enough praises. It would be Deception Detective, Peter Hyatt, Pat Brown. That's the 3 on YouTube that I know is going to give it raw, real, logical, precise in their opinion. I think a lot of them anymore don't do that. You know, they may have like the big dun dun dun, you know, like clips and all that to get you pulled in, but then you'll sit and watch them for an hour and they'll be like, I just don't know. But when she puts her chin like this and scratches it, she must have an itch. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes. Peter Hyatt. I love Peter. And I love Pat, and I love Deception Detective. Of course, the interview room. But Chris doesn't. I mean, he does. You know, that's not his realm of things. Like, and he's good at it because, you know, of his profession. But oh, what's his? I can't think of who was on Chris's the other day. I took a class from. Help me out. Who was on Chris's the other day? He does behavior analysis. I don't know. Steve Johnson, thank you. Yeah, Steve Johnson is great. Dr. Gary Picato, of course. But I mean, like, the ones that just like do it on YouTube. Like, I really trust these three. Really, really do. God, I got so many windows open. I'm sorry, I'm trying to close them up here. All right. So credit goes to Deception Detective. Link is in the description. He comes in a lot. Deception Detective does. I watch him all the time. All the time. There we go. Okay, I found it. I had so many windows open from a live earlier. It was crazy. Oh, thank you, Lacey. We've got a good group of people here who I got amazing people. We don't have to agree on everything. In fact, we always need people who disagree, but do it respectfully. You know, so I appreciate you being here. Sorry, I'm trying to fix it so we don't have any commercials. But this is taking forever. Sorry, guys. 1 second. Okay. I got it now. I got it. I think I got it. Where the hell's the history? Could someone... Jesus. Wait, I got the link. Never mind. Paste and go. Okay, here. Lord, it's never taken me so long to get a link. I got a clusterfuck here. All right. This is Deception Detective right down here. Wonderful human. And of course, he's addressing the Proudfoots. Let's see here. Make sure you are sub to
and
him.
if you've been following along, and that's for 3 reasons.
Because he is really the best.
I was hoping to interview the Proudfoots. I made multiple offers to them, but I've not heard back, so we're going to analyze them here today. The second reason is I think other analysts like Pat Brown and Peter Hyatt have already done a great job analyzing the Proudfoots. And the third reason is something that's unique to me, which I've talked about in the DD forum, and we'll go over that in this video. Without further ado, let's listen.
Can't even imagine as a parent what you two are going through. How would you describe the situation right now? How are you coping?
We're on a constant roller coaster ride of helpless and hopeless.
What's interesting to me is when he says here helpless and hopeless, but at the end of this live, he's going to say optimism is at an all-time high. Well, if you're helpless and hopeless,
and many other emotions all in one, and it's a never-ending roller coaster. It doesn't stop. It won't stop until he walks through the door.
I wouldn't wish this on anyone. Not anyone.
I know we're about keeping hope alive. I'm sure that's in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna come home.
One thing I don't like with interviewers is when they provide answers to the interviewee. So what we're watching now is the unedited cut of the first interview the Proudfoots did.
Yes. This interviewer, like, I know she probably meant well, but don't feed them the question. Like, you know, don't suggest an answer or a question to them, right? Don't say, well, didn't y'all, wasn't y'all there at 3 a.m., on Sunday night? You say, where were you on Sunday night? And that's it. That's it. There needs to be a question mark at the end of a question.
With a local news station, I think WSMV4. And it's recorded in 4 parts. So even though this one's just 5 minutes, there's like 3 other parts that we'll look at. The issue with an interviewer providing the answer to the question is that we don't hear what the parents are saying or what they would have said without that feedback. And it's important for us to hear that because there are 7 things we look for when parents of missing children get the opportunity to go onto the news or speak to a YouTuber or do an interview. And I'll just go over those here so you can bear them in mind as we listen. This is my list. You can find it in the DD forum. I've used it across multiple cases on the channel from the mechanic.
He does a lot of checklist. And if you are interested in Madeline McCain cases, him and Pat Brown are phenomenal at that case. Very much so.
Cans to the Wells, to William Tyrrell's foster parents, to Jen Soto. And I've not updated it in a very long time because it's so predictive. So here's what we look for. We want the parents to speak about the kid in the present tense. We want the parents to be cooperative.
And to give credit where credit is due, I'm pretty sure they've always used present tense.
So if they get asked a question, they do their best to answer the question and not over answer, right? So they answer what they're asked, but they're not trying to push a narrative. Like the McCann's pushing the narrative of a kidnapping when they're asked what could have happened. Third is the parents are inconclusive. So if the parents say 100%, my kid was kidnapped without any evidence that someone broke into the house, or in this case, they say, my kid walked away or ran away without any evidence that the kid did that, it's a red flag. Fourth, if the kid is missing and the parents are on TV, we can expect them to address a kidnapper. So even if they're not sure the kid was kidnapped, they don't know what actually happened. So we can expect them to at least look into the camera and say, if you have my son, Sebastian, please return him to us. We won't pursue you. Just drop him off at a police station. Fifth, we can expect parents to address the child through the camera. Since they don't know what happened to their kid,
take care of yourself.
For all they know, the kid is watching. So they'll take that opportunity to speak to the kid. Sebastian, we know you're out there. If you're watching this, we love you. We're going to find you. Sixth, the parents ask for help. That's the entire point of these appearances. If the parents don't ask for help, it means A, that they might know the kid is beyond any help. They might know the kid is already dead. Or it might mean they have an ulterior motive. They're not necessarily doing this interview to help find their kid. They're doing it to push a narrative, or they're doing it to clear their own name. Either way, they have some other agenda, and that's not expected if your kid is missing. And seventh, there's a call to action. So if the parents have to be prompted to say, if you see my kid, call 911, or if they have to be prompted to describe their kid or ask for help, it means that, once again, their appearance was not about finding the kid. There was some ulterior motive.
It makes you wonder. And I think that's been one of the biggest questions, other than, in my opinion, the holes in the story of Chris and Katie, is their behavior, past and recent present. But why aren't they, how does a mother not get up and search like most parents are? You can't keep them down. But with parents like Katie, parents like Candace, Dawn, Chris, you can't get them up. Like, how do you not get them up? Seth did address the potential. Seth did address it. It was a potential kidnapper. Seth said, let him go and drop him off. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, Seth is the least I'm worried about here. I'm going to play a little bit of this and then we're going to move on, but I just want
And we need to figure out what that was.
you guys to see.
All right, let's keep listening.
Deception Detective. Real quick.
He's going to walk through that door. And the street will be flooded again with family and relatives all waiting to hug and love him. And
That boy's gonna have more friends than he knows what to do with when he comes home.
So here we are, 8 days now searching for him. Walk us through that Sunday night that he went missing. So walk us through, we've got so many people who really want to know, okay, how did this happen? So kind of just walk us through that night.
We were out and about that day. We were having a really good weekend. We got home. Everything was pretty normal. He was playing in his room. When I told him to go to bed, he did. He said, "Good night, Mom. I love you." Said goodnight to his puppies. A little bit later, I wound up going to bed, and when I woke him up for school, he wasn't there.
When I woke him up for school, he wasn't there.
Yes.
That's an interesting statement.
Listen
and
to
lots
this.
of people have commented that on my previous videos, saying that the mom said that. And it is a strange statement because if someone's not there, you can't wake them up for school. If she said I went into his room to wake him up for school and discovered he wasn't there, that would make more sense. So why did she say that? It could be that this story is fabricated. Right, so your imagination is a lot weaker than your memories. So if you scripted a story of what you did that morning, let's say she and Chris sat down and said, okay, here's what you're going to say. You're going to say you went into his room to wake him up for school. He wasn't there. You panicked. That could explain a small mess up like that, where she says something that doesn't technically make sense. Kind of like how the McCann said, well, we went into Madeline's room and found her not there. It doesn't make sense.
You can't find, found her not there. In my opinion, they found her. All right. But you can't really say too much on here about that, or that's one case. It's really, they took Pat Brown's book off Amazon because it was against, well, not against per se, but it was calling out some stuff of her opinions. No, this is not Peter Hyatt talking. This is Deception Detective. I'm going to drop his link again here in chat. Link is in the description for those who on the replay crew. Make sure you sub up to him. He's one of the genuines out there.
Sense. You don't find something that's not there. You might realize she wasn't there, or you might find an empty bed, but you don't find someone who's not there. And there's a whole analysis behind that if you want to watch my McCann's playlist. But suffice to say, that is a strange statement. I recognize it as such, but we need multiple signs of scripting before we feel.
See how he is looking for, it's not just one thing, right? It's not just one thing that indicates that someone is being deceptive, right? And I always say it's not one thing that in my opinion, points to someone looking guilty. It is a series of events or their accounts, statements on the story, right? There, like I say, okay, if there is a scent, then we know Sebastian walked on his own, right? And dogs would follow him, his scent. But we don't have that. Or if there was no scent, there would be him on a camera somewhere, right? But there's none of that. And then we have Sebastian not, for instance, liking outdoor. He didn't like the dark. So it's those indicators, and there are multiple of them, that says he is not that type of boy that is going to walk out in the middle of the night. If he wouldn't walk past a door that made a strange sound and he didn't like the outdoors, he's not going to go outside, because there's a lot of strange noises, sounds in the night that we don't know, right? So it's those indicators.
More comfortable accusing people of having scripted a story. So let's keep listening, and then we'll get into that third reason why I've put off analyzing these parents for so long.
So in your mind, that's usually around what time? When do you normally wake up? Around 6?
Darling, I am so sorry. I did not see that. I apologize. Thank you so much. Inquiring minds want to know. We know CP was not in the crane between 5:30 a.m. and 6:55 a.m. So where was he? When he was on the three-way call with Katie and sheriff's office, that call did not happen in the crane, in my opinion. Yes, I agree with you, because he said he was in the crane and he's feeling kind of confused because he's got two different ears, in. One is talking to the work about, lifting the crane up or taking it down or whatever. And the other one is Katie, and they're both talking. He's like, I'm confused. Well, that happened at 6:04 in the morning. You weren't in the crane, right? And B, why would you stay there for hours knowing your wife is home alone, can't find her child, and you're there working? Why would you just sit there and do nothing? Interesting.
So were you instantly thinking something's wrong, or were you like, he may just be already in the shower?
I took a second and walked through the house looking for him in case he'd gotten up and was trying to get breakfast or something, because he did that sometimes. About 3 minutes in, give or take, I was on the phone with my husband. I said, I can't find him.
Here's another thing that we're going to notice a lot
as
they talk and as we go through all of their interviews. And this is because of you guys, right? So if you're part of the DD forum, I read all your posts. If you're a member of the channel, I read all your comments. If you're a subscriber, I read all your comments. And lots of people have pointed out to me the number 3. Lots of the times or locations or amounts that the Proudfoots talk about involve the number 3. And that is an important detail. And 3 is actually known as the liar's number. So I'm going to read you that card from the deception deck. If you're not familiar, the deception deck is my 52 favorite rules for spotting lies and deception. And you can buy it at deceptiondeck.com. So I'm going to read you the card for the number 3, which is in the deck. Here's the card. Each card in the deck is a flashcard. So it has the rule on the front, and then on the back, it has the explanation of the rule as well as a real world example. So this is the card for 3. And I'll just read you the rule. Liars often use the number 3 in their statements. If a statement includes a 3, like 3 p.m., third floor, $300,000, 3 minutes, it might be fabricated. The reason why people use the number 3 is unknown. There's lots of different studies into why that happens. But for us, for our purposes, it is a human phenomenon. When people are lying or making up a story, if they need to pick a number out of thin air, they typically pick the number 3. Kind of like if people are asked their lucky number, they usually pick the number 7. So the fact that she said she was on the phone with Chris for 3 minutes or within 3 minutes, does that mean she's lying? Not necessarily, but we need to be on alert for it. So I'm going to rewind here. Let's listen again.
About 3 minutes in, give or take, I was on the phone with my husband. I said, I can't find him.
All right, so 3 minutes in, give or take, I called my husband. Does that mean she's lying? Not necessarily. It could just be she's guessing about how long it took, right? So people don't actually have to be trying to deceive you to pick the number 3, but it does tell us that she's being a little bit loose with the facts.
And it actually wasn't a 3-hour phone call. They said it was a 3-hour phone call, but after they gave us the times, it was a 2-hour phone call.
She's not doing her best to be specific unless it literally was 3 minutes. And the way she said it sounded like it was a guesstimate. So this could either be fabricated, like she took longer to call Chris, or her call with Chris was scheduled ahead of time. You know, something happened to Sebastian the night before, and she and Chris spoke, and he said, okay, at this time, you're going to call me. So she's saying, yeah, it took about 3 minutes to look for Sebastian because she wasn't actually looking for Sebastian. That's possible.
The laugh, yeah. She laughs at very inappropriate times.
He said, what do you mean you can't find him? I said, he's not in the house.
The way she says he's not in the house, I don't find that believable. The way she says
And
it.
so at that point, is that when you call 911 or what's going through your mind?
While we were on the phone, and I was like, is he on the other side of the bed? The normal places he may be in the house, you know, and he wasn't. So I was like, okay, well, hold on a minute.
The other side of the bed? What does that even mean?
Called the sheriff's department and made the report.
I ran all over the house, outside, inside. I looked in every closet.
Within minutes, they were here. They responded within minutes, and here we go.
So you said you were on the phone with her. So
I agree.
you were not home.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Most of us have lived through enough that you can tell if someone is being genuine, right? If it's an authentic, if they're authentic. And this, in my opinion, just does not seem authentic.
I was at work. I'm a tower crane operator, and I was working in Memphis at the St. Jude Project. So it's...
Listen to this.
I have an earpiece in that talks to my phone. I have another earpiece in that does the radios. So when she was talking to me, it was like, what? I was confused.
See, right there, the confusion.
We talked about where he could possibly be, and then we went from there and led to calling the cops, and here we are now.
Within minutes, they're at the home.
Yes, ma'am.
It was rapid fire. They had cars. They had cars from here down to the
main
road, as far as I could tell.
So what's going through both of your minds? I mean, are we panicking? Is it this, oh, I think he's probably at a neighbor's house, or what are you thinking?
My son doesn't run. He's not a runner. He's never run away.
This is another interesting statement that I've seen brought up a lot. My son doesn't run. He's not a runner.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very specific denial. So first of all, okay, fine, he's not a runner, but could he have walked out the door? Could he have been pushed out the door? I know that Peter Hyatt has a theory that they locked him outside as a form of punishment, and then he might have wandered off or something happened to him. That wouldn't require him to run. He could literally just be pushed out the door or walk out the door. So saying he's not a runner could be 100% true, but it doesn't mean that he wasn't put out and walked off or wandered off due to their negligence or to escape abuse. You don't have to run away to get away from an abusive parent. You can walk away. So that is an interesting thing that she brings up. And also, I've seen clips of them saying he walked out that door conclusively.
I don't know why he walked out the door. She's
Well,
going to say it
maybe that's true.
in a
Maybe
minute.
he did walk out the door. But maybe he walked
Stay in
out
a minute.
because he was told to, or because there was a threat of punishment if he didn't step outside the door. So that could all be 100% true. The other main thing here is when they talk about him walking out the door.
Well, there's more than one crane. There's two cranes working there, right? There's two cranes, big cranes there. And I mean, people's like, well, he had to wait and, get relief. Well, if you got a call at 6:04 saying that he wasn't there, you didn't have to be clocked in until 7. That was almost an hour, even before you clocked in. Doesn't make sense. Oh, Amy, thank you so much, my dear. Thank you, love. On the train, me Charles. Well, you know what happens. It's a serious thing around here. We have to do an application process. Beep, beep, mother chickens.
This is a Brooklyn-bound 2 express train. The next stop is Fulton Street.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
To the lesser fight, my body aches to be satisfied. My weakness comes and goes. My weakness comes and goes.
Congratulations to the new 5 Pearl member. If you received the pearl necklace from our beloved Amy, please give her a big, big thank you from both of us. Your application has been approved. Thank you so much, Amy, for gifting 5 pearl necklaces. What a sweetheart. You are my darling. Thank you, thank you.
It's very conclusive. How do they know he wasn't kidnapped? How do they know he didn't, someone didn't knock on his window and have him come out and then close the window behind him and trick him like a predator, tricking him out of the house, kidnapping him, taking him? How do they know he went out the door and not the window, right? So there is some conclusiveness here that is concerning. Now, obviously, we're only 4 minutes into an interview, but I'm pointing all these things out because these should add up over time. If we see them fail, all 7 of these things on our checklist, we can place more chips on our bet that they know what happened to him.
Yes, it's an accumulation of these statements that leads, to believe they're being deceptive. Thank you for joining, Karen.
I don't know why he walked out that door.
Once again, I don't know why he walked out the door. But how does she know if he walked out? The question should be, I don't know what happened to him.
Yes.
She doesn't know why he walked out the door. But she does know if he walked out the door.
She says, Chris said something very interesting. I'll pull it up. I'll try to pull it up. Before he stated that Sebastian opened the door, stepped on the porch, and walked out. How do they know that? There's no sign of him doing that. The only thing we have a sign of is that Sebastian is missing. That's it. We don't know if he walked out the door, if he was lured out the door, if there is foul play and he was taken out of the home. We have no idea. We know the only thing we have evidence of is there is a disappearance. Nothing else. That's it.
And this is where Peter Hyatt and Pat Brown's analysis makes a lot of sense to me. And I recommend subscribing to their channels. I've recommended both of them in my member section for a very long time because I think they do great work. I personally have put off analyzing these parents myself, however, because of the way that I approach true crime and the sort of Bayesian thinking that I do. So let's wrap up this first segment, and then I'll go over that and how I think about these things, and also how you can use Bayesian thinking as a tool to make better decisions when you're analyzing suspects, but also just better decisions in general in your own.
Is guidance in here? Is guidance in here? Today is Guidance's birthday. And I need to sing her happy birthday. My rendition of Marilyn Monroe singing to JFK, happy birthday, Mr. President. But it's to Guidance. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Guidance. Whoa. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Guidance. Wishing you all the blessings on your birthday. Enjoy your day, darling. Enjoy your day. It is her birthday. It is.
Own life.
I mean, he's a good kid. He's not a mischievous child by any means. But there's answers to questions that have no answers, or questions with no answers right now that we are searching for desperately, and we just don't have that.
You think back, and there might have been a reason he was possibly upset or something outside that could have enticed him to go outside. Was there anything that came to mind?
We've been combing over that day and even the weeks before he left, and I hadn't been able to figure it out. He's that morning he was laughing, he was joking. Everyone we were around that day agreed that he seemed like he was in a good mood. He was behaving.
Everyone around that day agreed he was behaving.
Notice how the constant question they have is why he walked out. That's what they're saying they don't know. They're not saying they don't know whether or not he walked out. So I think it's safe to assume they know for a fact that he walked out that front door. And the question is, of course, did he walk out because he wanted to be a teen runaway, or because he was being abused, or because he was pushed outside as a form of punishment? I think that's what this all boils down to at this point, because they seem certain that he walked out the door.
Yep.
Now, could they be hoaxing? Could they be saying that he went out that door because they did something else to him and they want us to believe he walked out the door? Yes. But the fact that they're slipping up by saying that they know he went out, they just don't know why, seems to indicate that they're trying to hide the fact that they know for sure he went out the door.
Behaving.
You're welcome,
To
John.
make more sense if we'd been fighting.
Or he'd been in trouble, but he hadn't been.
See, then after we were searching the weeks, or we've been even going back of the weeks, looking back, and then it would have made sense if we were fighting and then Chris steps in, or if he would have been in trouble.
In trouble.
Katie.
So, they
just got releasing
the $1 million question. Why did he go? And the other $1 million question is how.
Releasing pressure.
What about social media? Is there anything that, anyone he could have contacted? I understand he was somewhat of a gamer, or what was he? There was a video game he loved, right?
Minecraft. He loves Minecraft. The game that he has is not online. He has the Switch.
We don't, because of how social media can be, he doesn't have accessibility to communicate with folks
on the internet.
I mean, we have a firm belief that we just don't feel that right now he's capable of having that kind of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, his phone is locked down, his computers, his gaming. He doesn't have a gamer tag. He doesn't have online.
Tori. This is for snacks during this deception video. Enjoy, everyone. I'm so glad I found your channel, Justin. The lost is never alone. We're always here. Thank you so much, Tori. It's very sweet. That's very sweet. We're glad you're here too, my dear. Thank you so very much. Okay, well, I guess we're going to have to take a snacks break.
Snacks, because, he's 15 and snacks. Snacks, because, he's 15 and snacks. Snacks, because, he's 15 and snacks.
Something that I believe we're pervy to. Something that I believe we're pervy to. Something that I believe we're pervy to.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
even a fly, and he's like, oh!
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
even a fly, and he's like, oh!
So I was thinking about something. I recorded Chris's face right there. I thought about recording Chris's face, and you can hear him obviously when he's talking, but whenever Katie is speaking as well. And just looking at his, because it would be interesting because you only see his face whenever Katie would be speaking, and then you could do it for Katie. You could record just her face when Chris is talking, and you can really notice their facial expressions so much better. Because otherwise you're watching both of them and you're watching their hands and everything else. I think that would be, because I know this is a funny clip, but just watch Chris. He's on this, and just this little clip whenever Katie is speaking. I know it's a funny clip, but just watch his face.
Something that I believe we're pervy to. Something that I believe we're pervy to. Something
It's
that
coming up here.
I believe we're pervy to.
I mean,
Now watch.
even a fly,
Watch.
and he's like, oh!
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
even a fly, and he's like, oh!
Look at that. He's like, and then he's like, it's interesting to me. Yes, I sure did, Mike. I sure did. Thank you for that email. SW4x4, thank you so much. They talked in the beginning about him still being alive, but after 2 weeks, Sebastian was in past tense. Also, why have they never searched? Very good question. He did look disgusted in my, yep. I agree. He's like, yes. Because if, like I stated, if you know where your keys are you going to look for them? You're not going to look for them, right? It's like, so why would they waste energy, time, when they know where potentially something is, allegedly?
Capabilities with games. I mean,
We've combed every electronic.
I mean, we've cooperated with all the authorities as far as anything they've asked us to provide, we've provided.
So far, they're speaking about him in the present tense.
Yes.
And they seem to be trying to be cooperative. They are a little bit conclusive about him walking out that door. So they have zero curiosity about whether or not he was kidnapped or went out the window or did something else, which is why I think they know for a fact he went out that door.
Now, this is their first on television interview. They did an interview with Duchess. She was the first interview Chris and Katie did, but this is their first sit down, someone in their house interview, right? Hey, Vic girl.
It's just about figuring out why that happened. They've not addressed any potential kidnappers. They've not addressed him through the camera yet. They've not asked for help, and they've not done any sort of call to action yet. And that might just be because they think this portion of the interview is background. But I think the actual interview that was shown on the news was clipped from this.
And still just don't have any answers.
Did he have any friends that could have possibly contacted him in some way on his phone?
All his friends at school have been questioned to my knowledge, and none of them knew anything.
So this
Daddy.
big question mark. He's vanished.
Yes, ma'am.
And no one can figure out where or why. All right. So let's talk too about the relationship involved, because the biological father is very much involved in Sebastian's life as well.
Yes, ma'am. Very much.
Right. And how would you describe?
If you've not followed along on this series, I have analyzed the biological father, Seth Rogers, in my video, How to Tell Innocent from Guilty. We analyzed him along these exact same criteria, and he came out squeaky clean.
Describe that relationship, the two of them and the four of you.
It's relatively good. I mean, we talk regularly. He talks to his son on a regular basis, sees him on a regular basis. He's involved in school and therapy. And I mean, he doesn't have any extracurricular activities, but I can tell you now, if he did, his dad would be in the front row.
I mean, two different households. And the communication between the three of us is great. I mean, yes, we're just like every parent. We all have our disagreements, but in the end, we come together as a team and we work and we come up with solutions that as we best see fit. I mean, I'm almost in contact with him almost daily.
Let's talk about Sebastian. Tell me about Sebastian. How would you describe him?
Sweet, stubborn. He loves to help. He loves running, and he loves.
That's one thing that you do notice. They don't say, Chris, I think, says it more than Katie. Chris says Sebastian more than Katie. Katie doesn't say Sebastian's name that often, but neither of them do like. I think Chris ruled the roost, and between Katie and Seth, and I think what Chris wanted, Chris got eventually.
His games and his fidgets and Uno. Lord, that's one of his favorite games right now. Favorite color is green.
Does he love music?
Oh, he loves music.
An eclectic taste. An eclectic. I mean, from as everybody knows, Eye of the Tiger to Eddie Vedder.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So we got Pearl Jam on one hand, we've got Survivor on the other over here, we've got Taylor Swift, and
he's got a big crush on her. I mean, country, rock,
no
classic.
hip hop. We don't allow the hip hop.
Well, he doesn't really get into it anyways.
Things.
You mentioned he loved running. So did he love the outdoors at all? I mean, would something outside that was somewhat outdoorsy be?
So Chris says that they don't allow hip hop. He also said that the phone was locked down, no internet. So they seem like strict parents.
Enticing to him or pull him outdoors?
He loves, like, when we were in California and the school had this lap thing to gain money. It was a fundraiser. And every year I did this many laps. I did this many laps. I mean, I've got t-shirts where they would write on his back every time the kids.
You see the difference? You see, I believe that. You see what she's saying right there? I did this many laps. I got this, and how many kids did this, wrote on his back. You see the difference? How confident that she is there? Do you understand? Because it's believable. It's believable. She's confident in what she is saying. She's being genuine. She's being real, authentic. Yeah, she had more energy toward it because that happened. It happened. You can see the difference, right? Not, what did she say? I can't find him. I called him and said, I can't find him. Big difference. Big difference. Now, in my opinion, Chris is harder to gauge, but I think it was much easier to gauge on the Nancy Grace one. But you can.
Kids went around, they'd mark a mark on the back and they'd keep running. And he just had marks all the way across his back.
Also note, this is like the third time the mom has talked about Sebastian running. First, she said he's not a runner, as in he runs away from home. But then earlier when they were talking about what he likes, she said he likes running. And now she's going into this anecdote about him running laps. What is she saying? She might be trying to tell us that he might have gotten far, that maybe he did run away, and he might be further than people expect.
He likes playgrounds. He hates being dirty. He don't like being dirty.
Yeah, he's not.
I believe that.
He's not your tomboy style child where he goes outside and plays in the mud.
He loves animals, but he's terrified of bugs.
Oh yeah.
Here we go.
Wow. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
even a fly, and he's like, oh!
He's highly functioning. I know you all have described him as having a form of autism.
He does.
But describe that to our viewers too, as far as his way of thinking of things and maybe how determined he was about certain things or his mindset.
He
He's got a stubborn mindset. If he believes,
You see the difference in how they're acting, how they loosened up, right? Because they know what they're talking about. They've loosened up. It's okay, rapper. They've loosened up. They know what they're speaking about. It's more comfortable in this situation.
it's this.
he gets on a one-man track, and he is just on it, and he is all about it.
But I mean, he's very smart.
He's
I mean,
smart.
he can play chess. He can beat adults in chess.
Wow.
So he's
He loves playing games.
What about navigation? Like, did he have a sense of direction? Do you think he could have possibly even hitched a ride or gotten a ride on a bus or some sort of transportation?
that is a speculation that we don't have an answer for. Just directionally, he knows he could guide you from our house to his dad's house.
Yeah.
He could get from like this house. I think he can make it up to Culver's ice cream.
He can go to Culver's.
Oh, boy loves
He knows
malt.
where Culver's is because Culver's has malt. He loves malt, extra malt. Every time, extra malt.
Now, how far away does his dad live?
Clarksville. His dad lives up by Clarksville.
So he could guide someone all the way to Clarksville.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay. So a pretty keen sense of direction, at least with certain things.
Familiar routes.
Yes.
Familiar routes.
Familiar routes.
I mean, if I took him another route going this way, he would not know it.
He goes up there so often that he knows how to get to his daddy's. We know that.
His dad works with him as far as, well,
That's
we're
true.
going this way, we're going that way, and keeps the same thing.
One of the things I like about this is that they're not trying to push a narrative. So if you've seen my Well series, you know they were pushing the kidnapping narrative. No matter what the question was, they tried to bring it back to a kidnapping.
And that's true. That's true. Don, you can say, how's the weather? Well, someone came up on this hill and took her. I'll see her in the resurrection. All right. Don, what's your favorite color? Oh, brother, someone came up on this hill and took her. I'll see her in the resurrection. Doesn't matter what you ask him. Don is going to circle it around to I'll see her in the resurrection. Or now it's talking about, like Hawkins County and the CPS thing and all that now. That's what he circles it to now.
Or the McCanns, no matter what the question was, could this be possible? Is that possible? It will always, they found a way to push it back to a kidnapping narrative. Same with William Turrell. In all of those cases, when I saw how they were pushing the kidnapping story, I was confident in saying that the parents knew what happened and that they were responsible for what happened to the kid because they're pushing the kidnapping narrative. In this case, while they have not addressed any kidnappers or addressed Sebastian in the camera yet, or even asked for help, or even described him yet,
I don't think I have it up.
They are being cooperative and they're answering all the questions the reporter is asking them. Now, with that said, a lot has come out about the Proudfoots and how they treated Sebastian, and in other interviews where they said sort of belittling things about him, questioning his manhood. And I think that those details have biased people against the Proudfoots more than what's warranted. And that's the reason I've put off analyzing the Proudfoots with the hopes that Sebastian would turn up before I did this. However, I've offered to interview them. They have not taken me up on it. My members have voted 2 weeks in a row for me to analyze them. My last video hit 50K. So my audience, you guys are my number one priority. So I'm going to give you the videos that you want and try to teach you the.
He is such a good guy. Deception Detective is. He really cares about his subscribers. He's, in my opinion, like, he is one of that really goes hard for his subscribers. And I think sometimes you can really tell that in a creator and sometimes you can't. But I think he really does care. I think he's one of the, I don't want to say that one of the few, but I just think there are people that appreciate, or maybe they show you their appreciation more. And I think, we should thank our subscribers, because without you guys, we're absolutely, nothing. So, so I appreciate when he says stuff like that. So
lessons that I think will help you in your everyday life. So why did I put off analyzing the Proudfoots? I'm going to explain that to you in a way that I explained it in the forum by asking you 2 questions, and then I'll break it down. The first question is, so
Thank
answer
you,
this
Sonia.
question. Here it is. Amy, a fictional character, is an autistic teenager living with her mother and stepfather, Stan. Amy has been missing for over a month. Stan, who has a history of domestic abuse, did not immediately contact the police after Amy's disappearance. Based on this
Fair.
information, which of these 2 options is more likely? Option number 1, Amy ran away, or option number 2, Amy was killed by Stan.
And that's why I
Most of-
appreciate him, HDC. Because he does not care what, I don't want to say what others think, because I don't think that's what I'm trying to convey, but when he believes something, in his analysis, he sticks to it. And I appreciate someone that will stick in their convictions, even if it's not a popular thing. Thank you, Mimi. It's very sweet. Yes. Yes, Tar, you are. Thank you, Mimi. They aren't trying to convince us right now. Very much Mohawk. Yeah. Yeah. And yes, like Peter Hyatt, and that's what I say. Peter, Pat, Deception Detective. PPD. You mean he cares about his subs like you? I feel so safe here and opposed. Oh, thank you, Sonia. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. We've got a great group here. Wonderful. Honestly, you guys are amazing, and I am so fortunate to have each and every single one of you. Like I always say, you could have chose to be anywhere, and you chose to be here, and I am humbled, truly. Thank you.
My subscribers and followers on X voted for Amy was killed by Stan. 77%, in fact. So now answer this question. Amy, a fictional character, is a teenager. Amy has been missing for over a month. Based on this information, which of the following outcomes do you find more likely?
Hold on.
Amy ran away or Amy was murdered?
Where's Amy in
When
here?
I left out the details about Stan and Amy's disability, 58% answered Amy ran away, and only 41% answered Amy was murdered.
You guys too.
And the correct answer in both situations is Amy ran away.
Thank you, Francis.
Because the question is, which of these is more likely given the details that we have?
Oh, we've got a late. We got a later. Joe, to the office, please. Joe, to the office. You're being paged. Late slip for Joe. 2.5 hours late. You're going to have some makeup work today. You're going to have some makeup work. Come on. Makeup work. Our makeup work's a little different here. Come on, Joe. A little bit of late makeup work. Get my little puffs and creams and all that for you. Yes. Weekend homework. Weekend. I want to see that eyeliner to the gods, honey. Okay.
So even though it's more likely,
fail
for
this
example,
test.
for a stepfather with a disabled child to abuse that child than it is for a biological father
Thank you for the
to
late
abuse a non-disabled child, it doesn't
Right
flip the base rates of teenagers running away versus teenagers getting killed by their parents.
direct attention.
So the base rates are there's 1.5 million teenage runaways every year compared to just 500 annual filicides where a parent kills their kid. So the ratio is 3,000 to 1.
Now, to be honest with you, the FBI says there's about 500 filicides a year. That case, or that is probably double that technically, but that is what they can surely account for on an average year, which 500 parents killing their children a year, that's quite a bit. But it is much higher than 500 realistically. But statistically, that is, it's 500.
That the kid ran away rather than was murdered.
Yes.
And what happens is when we get biased,
And that is another true thing. A kid has a far greater chance of running away than being unalived by their parents. True. But whenever a child runs away, there's usually some evidence that they've ran away, right? Like a dog scent, right? They leave a letter, right? They take their shoes, right? They take their phone, right? They take their coats, they pack a bag, and they're seen on video, right? But that is not the case in Sebastian's case. That's the troubling thing for those that kind of give Chris and Katie the side eye a little bit. Why are you, and it's prior and post after Sebastian went missing. Well, he didn't take a bag. Nope. He didn't take his phone. Nope. He didn't take his shoes. And it was cold or cool outside. No. Okay, well, the dogs will track him. Oh, dogs didn't track him. Well, that's strange. Camera will track him. Nope, camera didn't track him. And then after all of this, there's a car down the road. There's two people on a flashlights. He supposedly took a flashlight. Then we see two flashlights, and then we see a car. And it starts to be like, see something, say something to the office, please. See something, say something to the office, please. You're being paged. Late slip for see something, say something. Reno, you're late too. Reno to the office, please. Reno to the office. You're being paged. Late slip for Reno. Why don't know if Sebastian had any socks on either, right? They don't know if he had socks, if he had shoes. No idea. Not a clue. Not a clue. I mean, they said none of his shoes were missing. Now, I believe the shoes, in my opinion, were forgot about. That's my opinion. I think they were forgot about. I think this happened around bedtime. He was supposed to be in bed. Something happened. How tall are CP and KP? Taller than Sebastian. Yes, a little bit taller. Now Chris is pretty short, isn't he? Am I right?
Missing details.
How tall is Chris?
Like the stepfather had a criminal record, or the stepfather's really mean, or he only does interviews with people he can bully, or he just seems like a nasty guy. Those little details can bias our analysis. And we actually forget to consider the base rates because we're biased by those details. And you can see that people understood the base rates when I left out those details. So if you're betting on a case where there is no body, it is a teenager, no matter how mean the parents are, or if they even have a criminal record of abuse, or they say nasty things about the kid, more likely than not, the kid ran away. The odds.
Chris is shorter than Seth. I would say, I don't know how short Chris is. I mean, I think he's short. I don't think he's maybe Dolly short, but I think he's short. He's probably anywhere from 5'7" to 5'9", something like that. Oh, thank you, Betty. Thank you, my dear. Snacks for everyone and coffee for the amazing mods. Oh, thank you, Betty. That's so sweet. That's so sweet. Claims he's 5'9". So he's my height. He's short. Chris told the diver he was 5'10". He probably is with 4-inch heels on. HTC, it's funny. Who said 4'11"? Miss Tar said 4'11". She sure did.
Are 3,000 to 1. Let's listen closely and see if there's anything else that we're going to factor into our analysis. But so far, if I'm betting that these are not the best parents. They might have been so strict on Sebastian that he ran away, but I'm not seeing murderers.
And it works out. So
Let's talk too, because earlier, Chris, you and I were talking.
I hope that Deception Detective does lives on Smiley's one, on Web Sleuth's interview with them. I think that's where he's really going to see who they are.
And you were saying that there are a lot of people who are harassing both of you. What of any of that do you want to address? What do you want to say to any of these people?
Just that you don't know. And I don't wish you to ever know.
I would say it like this. Everybody has an opinion, you know, and it's perfectly okay to have that opinion, but you're not in this situation. You don't quite understand. I wish people would step back, take a different wide open view, and not assume what they know. It's just better to stick to the facts. If they have questions, all they have to do is ask.
And I pray genuinely that no one ever goes through this.
Just be kind to people. I mean, that's real simple.
There are some people who have been talking, because I know this is part of the harassment. Is there anything you want to address about this child custody situation with the previous?
So I have a current case that is ongoing in another state.
So this is the type of information that can bias even intelligent people, right? I know I have the smartest subscribers. I know I have the smartest followers on X. When I wrote this question, I included these details because I knew how powerful these details are. I knew they would bias even people who have watched all my videos. Right? So I wrote this article while these polls were still going on. I predicted the results. And I personally also have to work hard not to be biased against people.
We've requested that case to be sealed because there are some individuals who have taken upon themselves to put stuff out there that they don't quite know, which all they have to do is ask, I'll tell you. But because of that, you know,
But he's
has
bragged.
nothing to do with our son. Has nothing to do with the situation. You know, I just people would respect that and then keep an open mind. It's totally different.
If Sebastian is able to watch this, and maybe he's watching this as it airs.
I wish the journalist hadn't brought this up.
You're right, Karen.
So now when they talk to camera, it's because the journalist suggested it. I wished.
We all have natural bias, right? On our experiences, on how we were raised, what we think is morally correct.
I wish the journalist had done something like, is there anything you want to say? Because we will broadcast this on the news. And then wait for them to turn to camera and speak to Sebastian on their own. So unfortunately, this piece of our checklist addressing the child through the camera is dubious now because they are going to do it, but it's at the direction of the interviewer.
And if he is, what do you want to say to Sebastian? What do you want him to hear from you right now?
Oh, gosh. That we love you so much and we want you to come home and you're not in trouble.
And you're not in trouble. You know, I wonder, and I seriously don't understand this. You know, Katie says she likes to look at Sebastian's photo. You know, they'll do anything for him to come home. We want you to come home. Look at Chris. Yeah. But wouldn't you do anything for your kids? She was off for 3.5 months. And they did not search. They didn't. Chris did maybe an hour or two with Seth the first days that they were searching themselves. That's it.
I guarantee you he is loved. And trust me,
They go
the
straight
open
into
arms
this.
are waiting for him to come home. From every parent to every family members to
So notice how Chris doesn't include himself there, though, right? The open arms, passive. The open arms are waiting for him, not my open arms. So do I think Chris had a great relationship with Sebastian? No.
No way.
Could the relationship have been so bad and so abusive and so strict that Sebastian ran away? Yes. In fact, could the relationship have been so bad that it could amount to abuse? It's possible. But these are not looking like parents who killed their kid and are now trying to push a hoax about him running away. It's looking more like parents who were extremely strict on their kid and either compelled him to run away or suggested he run away and are okay with him running away. Something along those lines. And just like the Summer Wells case, we need to narrow it down over time. This is just the first interview of theirs I'm analyzing. With Summer Wells, we came up with a very, very sad conclusion for what I think actually happened based on the interviews. Here,
What has he done any more of Summer, or not of Summer, of Sebastian?
hopefully, we come to a more positive.
Tori, thank you, my love. She says flashlights had to be set in case they were detected later, walking outdoor in case they were seen walking around, light on, light off in room 1130. He was still home. Yes, I absolutely agree with that. Yeah, he didn't take his shoes, but he thought to take a flashlight. Oh, just in case, because they knew they were flashlights, or they knew they were cameras outside, in my opinion. They had to make sure that that base was checked too, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't think Laura. I mean, I don't think he's worried. See, that's the thing about like Pat, Peter, and Deception Detective. I don't think that they're scared of losing subscribers because they may think someone is innocent or involved. But I think once he does some more interviews where they start changing their stories, I think that's when they might know something. 1 second.
Conclusion that Sebastian ran away and has been hiding somewhere and is going to reemerge.
to probably everyone in the community. But there's no malice, that we just want our boy home. That, but
That mama's heart, I know it's daddy's too, but I feel like there's always that extra special bond. Can you walk us through what you're thinking right now?
I just want my baby to be okay. I don't know where he's at. I don't know where he's at.
Let's talk about the community, because I want you all to know, even my church body, I mean, we're all praying for his safe return quickly. What do you all want to say to the community?
Thank you.
With everything from the bottom of our hearts. I would not have imagined how far this has gotten, but there's no way to repay gratitude, the love that we have felt from the community, the prayers. But thank you.
But don't stop working.
Yeah, please.
My son is somewhere.
Good. That's what I expect an innocent parent to say. Or at least a parent who knows that the kid might still actually be out there. Right? Thank you, but don't stop looking. Seth Rogers did this.
Thank you so much, Holly. I believe the abuse was more than we think. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. I just got a call. Darzilla, thank you so much, my dear. He has done 4 about Sebastian's case. They are all good, and if I remember right, he figured them out. Thank you. Thank you. You know, I just got a call, and then I got off and I got a text. And, you know, I personally think, in my opinion, that something in this isn't right, right? Personally, based upon, like I say, the multitude of things that have happened. But at the end of the day, none of us know what happened to Sebastian. At the end of the day, I mean, I think we might have a good indication, perhaps, maybe not. But saying someone saying that military going in a house and slicing up a package and putting a package, I can't even say it, in a refrigerator is wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. Military is awful. That she would say something like that. That's just awful. Military, you really have to sort things out. Everything, like I always say, everything is not black or white all the time. And that's exactly right, Bloodhounder. I mean, how much time does one think that they had? Not the military way. Yes. And I've had a few people message me and call me about this, very upset with it. And I can completely disagree with someone like Chris or Katie. But there is no indication that someone was done that way. And it's just not, I don't know. I just don't. I mean, CP and the word kindness are an oxymoron, in my opinion. I agree with that. I mean, I agree with that. Thank you, True Sleuth. But sounds like another creator is claiming they did this. And I don't know. I don't know. Sorta Tar Heel, yeah. Sorta. I'm not going to use names or anything like that, but I know that is just wrong. And that is true, the only fact that we know is there is a disappearance. Now, you guys know how I feel and why I feel the way I feel, and the why probably most of you in here feel as well. But damn, yeah. Well, Maui girl, I have spoken to 2 military people. One just text me, and that's not the military way. Whatever has happened to Sebastian is bad enough, right? Whatever is happened to him is bad enough. I don't know where some people get their theories from. You know, like at this point, if you believe someone in the home or around them is involved, particularly if Chris was involved, time is of the essence, right? Like the theory doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense. I mean, how, if he was at work at 7 in the morning, are you, and if he left there at 11, 12, anywhere, and then it's going to take him almost every bit of time to get to work. He has very serious anger issues. He does. He does. And I don't think it's a problem to theorize. But there's even some, in my opinion, limitations. Yeah, please don't put any creators' names in chats, please. Um I don't know. That was just very upsetting. I haven't seen Seth in that chat since then. I can imagine how hard. Yeah, I mean, we've all, as creators, have done some stupid stuff at times. So, you go back and you're like, what was I thinking when I said that or I did that? And every one of us as creators, every single one of us have done it. But to me, it's like when it's, you try to do better, at least you would think. Oh, listen, honey, I am Sebastian's army. I am Sebastian's army. Trust me. My feelings about Chris and Katie has not changed, right? It hasn't. But it's just, I don't know. I mean, to me, like, say, military is, I appreciate. There's one thing that I do appreciate about Chris and Katie, and that is that they served for every one of us, you and me. Every single person that has ever served, regardless of how they are in their home life, whether they're assholes on the street or not, that's something you got to, you're thankful for. At least I am. And I'm sure most of you are too. But I appreciate that about Chris and Katie. But I don't think all military goes in and just, does that. But I think that personally, I do think there is foul play. I mean, I don't see how Sebastian could have walked out that house on his own. I don't think so. I mean, I just don't think so. I don't see it, in my opinion. And if he didn't walk out, someone had to take him out. Right? And then we hear about flashlights before we see a flashlight video. Oh, and there's a flashlight video. And then we see a car, right? And then we see two people, it looks like, coming to the car area. And then what do? They are around the car for a little bit. Oh, and then what happens? One gets in the vehicle, backs up, and leaves. Oh, what does the other one do? Runs toward a home. Right? I mean, it's not rocket science to me. You know what I mean? Like, I think anybody can see that, right? I mean, some people say, well, you don't know who was behind those flashlights. right? You don't know who that car was. And they're right. None of us, but a child went missing. A child went missing, and a mother's story, specifically Katie's story, does not make sense. Specifically, you heard a thud and you didn't check on your kid. All right. Right. You don't check on your kid. Thank you. It was the biggest heart of, yeah, HDC. Yeah. You know what I mean? I absolutely think, in fact, Chris has bounced from, one person to the next. Marriage. He's obviously not a person, in my opinion, that's probably loyal to his commitment for whatever reason. We've seen some craziness. But listen, unfortunately, anything is possible. I watched a father in 2015 throw their 5-year-old off the Skyway Bridge. At the time, I didn't know it was a person, and the family was like, oh my God, I didn't know. Oh my God, D. There's a bridge in my state. It's probably 2.5 hours from me, but people drive there from like all over the country. And it's like, how people used to, I don't know if they still do, jump off the San Francisco bridge. I think they put a net around it now, finally. But here, people will drive from like New York and all of that. And they will off the bridge. It's crazy. I can't imagine a child. There was a guy who jumped off with his dog. I remember that. That was bad enough. Saying that Sebastian went missing he said between 12:30 and 6. How do they know that it didn't happen before 12:30 if Katie didn't check on him? That's right. That's right. How did they know? How did they know? What did Tar say? Oh my God. Hey, vet girl, support law enforcement and support. Don't say military is trained to go in homes and slice. Did you hear what I was saying? Don't place a child in a freezer package. Want to be a voice for victims. Be a decent voice. And yeah. So I guess you heard it. Okay. It's very unfortunate. Wow. I don't know, man. Oh, I mean, I believe they know more. I do. Oh my God, your picture's so funny. That's so funny, that cat. Uh, but, you know, sometimes it's not what you say, but how you say it, right? Definitely. Definitely. That's right. Sebastian does have rights. Yeah. Walking with a flashlight. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can see it clear as day. Hold on, let me show you this. Give me a second so I can pull this up. Oh, do you guys remember me talking about a Mini Cooper before? Does anyone know what kind of car that is? Is that a Mini Cooper? Remember how I said there was still a Mini Cooper in the name? My questions are, why did CP have to go immediately to move the RV? When and why did it take 14 hours? Maurice, I agree. Okay, to me it looks like I forget what kind she has, but maybe like a clubman. Uh I think that's what I called. Or countryman, maybe that's what it is. Let's see here. Maybe that's what it. Oh well, let me see here. Let me look. I'm looking at. No, I don't think it's a Mini Cooper. But then again, it looks like it. Like, look how it's. Maybe like a. What are those little Buicks called? Like, maybe it's a Kia. Maybe it's a Fiat. I think a RAV4 is bigger than that, isn't it? Little hybrid EV Fiats. See, I can't tell if it's like round. Let me see here. Let's see here. It's very bizarre. Looks like this comes up, this bar, but this right here is, I mean, it looks like it's a tiny vehicle. Encore. But I don't think it's an Encore because it looks British to me. The car looks British. You can't zoom in really anymore because it's so blurry the way it is, I'm pretty sure. Let me check this. Let me look at this. Here, I'm going to show you this. It's really blurry, though. See if anybody. Fiat 2014 Fiat 5. I think you're right. I think you're right. I think they have that on. Someone has that on their thing. Fiat. I could tell by the windows it was like British, German, something. I knew those weren't American windows because the British makes the windows, and German, all that, they make it the shape differently. 2014 Fiat 500. Fiat 500. 2014 500. Let's see here. Yep. I think it is. This one has the bars on it. Trekking. Let's see here. Tell me if you think it's this. Sorry, something's. I don't know. No, I don't think it's. It might be. Hell, I don't know. I don't think it is. It's so hard to tell. It's so blurry. Look at the door near KP. Looks like someone is looking outside through window of it. Draw it and see. What? Let's see. Looks like someone is. I don't know what you mean. Yes. Yeah. Canadian. Thank you for that. So it's actually still in their name. And I've said that for quite a long while. And I'm wondering, but I thought, maybe they didn't. Hey, Princess. I thought maybe they got rid of it. But why is it here now? This is not a QX80, I can tell you that. Where did this car come from? Let's look at the back windows or the back. I've got it. Read in response to the middle of law enforcement. The last sentence makes me think. Yeah. Yeah, I've got a picture of the Fiat as well. But to me, this looks more rounded. But I'm pretty sure it's a Fiat of some type. Or a Mini Cooper or something. Looks like the car that was there, 226. I'll go back and look at what the car looks like, 226. Mm, I I know that there's a Mini Cooper out there, but I don't know. Where it was. I said maybe the paperwork wasn't, updated on our end yet. Play musical cars. Let me show you this. Where is it at? Let's look at the. Let's see here. Back of 2014. Fiat. The Fiats. It depends on the back. What is a 2014 Mini Cooper? This is like, I just put Mini Cooper. I didn't put any brand in or anything, but look at this. This is like Mini Cooper. Lights. I think that's probably too small. There's the boot. As the British say, there's the boot. We call it a trunk or a hatch. Mini Cooper is low. Yeah, I mean, why the hell did she trade? I mean, like, where's her other thing? Mike said, Nick, I am sure he means Barris. Okay, let me check. Bear with me. I've got Nick pulled up here anyways. Give me 2 seconds. Nick Barris, 9 new, 50 minutes ago, 4 hours ago. Something you don't see every day. I don't see anything he posted. I mean, are you talking about the little video? Oh, hold on. No, I don't see anything that he posted. 2019 Volkswagen Tiguan. I know that's not a QX80. QX80 is one of the biggest SUVs on the market. It's the biggest Japanese SUV, period. And that is made along with the Nissan thingy as well. I just stared down a Mini for half an hour after it hit me And that's not a mini in the pic with her unless it's a different model. I don't know. Okay. Christina, you're saying, hold on. I want to make this clear because you keep putting this in chat. Are you saying this is a QX80, an Infinity QX80? Christina, are you saying that's in it? Because I promise you, with every fiber of my being, 1000%, it's not a QX80. Infinity. This is a QX80. Breaking up hair and new glasses, new car. That's an Infinity QX80. That's not a QX80, dear. I had a QX80. I can promise you it's not a QX80. Breaking up hair, glasses, new car, reinventing herself, trying to forget the old Katie, incognito. I agree. Not only the headlights are wrong, it is entirely a different size. The Infinity QX80s are the size of a Suburban. Look at the grills, look at the everything. It's completely different. I looked up a country. I'll find out. It's not that big of a deal. Maybe a Kashki, or however you spelled it, Nissan car. Yeah. Now, a QX60 is a mid-size SUV. It's the smaller version of the QX80. It's the size of, it competes with, for instance, what is it, like a Chevy Trailblazer or something like that. It's a mid-size. But it competes more with like Lexus mid-size SUVs. Yeah, it's some type of small car or small SUV, but I'm pretty sure it's the front Ford Flex. No, it's not a Ford Flex. They quit making the Ford Flex, by the way. But they the not the Proudfits, but one of the I think Kathy used to have a Ford Flex though. She backed in the spot, so could it be a rental? I mean, it could be, but it's too small for a Flex. Yeah. Hold on. I can look up their. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on, I'm gonna play something while I try to find it. Give me 2 seconds. Credit goes to Brandy Gray. It's a good
I
video.
am about to
Oops, I got
show
on.
you what I have found.
She normally doesn't sound like
I
that.
am about to show you what I have found. We are going to enlarge and slow down this video. Sit back and watch. It will surprise you. These big lights could be a garbage truck. I'm not sure, but I think that they are lights on one of the houses, and I believe they are on the Proudfoot's home, and they are stationary. They do not move. Now, if you pay attention to the rest of the screen, the other two sources of light that you are going to see moving across the screen, I will enlarge it. I'll slow it down some, but I will point it out to you in just a minute that these are people. That is two people with some kind of light source. Could be a cell phone, could be a flashlight. I don't know, but it is two people with a light source. And they are walking back towards those big lights, which are right at the Proudfoot's home. J for Justice showed us where those lights are located by using Nick Barris's video and putting a light filter over it. You can go to her channel to see that. But if you pay close attention here and watch as the light moves across the screen, when it reaches the top of the screen, if you watch in front of those big lights, right here in a second, it's about to walk in front of those big lights, and you will then be able to see that it is a person. You can actually tell it's a person even before then, about midway to the lights. But watch closely, and you're going to see this person walk in front of those big lights right there. Right there. You see? Pause it. If you need to, you can enlarge your screen and take a look at it. Even slow it down on your end and take a look at it. Look right now. There it goes. It's about to cross in. Okay. Here I'm bringing it to you. Now watch. That is a person right now standing in front of that light source. I have inserted a enlarged still shot of the video where you can actually see that that is a person standing about midway of the screen right now. And I understand that we've been told it's a garbage truck. We've been told it's not relevant, amongst other things. But what I'm telling you is,
Okay. Katie has a 2022 KYMO 295. That is a bike, isn't it? 2022 KYMO. What's a 2022 KYMO 295? Okay. So this is what it is. It's like a scooter. This is what this is. Right there. Okay. And then there is a 2013 Harley Davidson, a 2017 Infiniti QX60 base model, 2020 Chevrolet Silverado 3500, 2014 Chevrolet Silverado 1500, okay, 2012 Mini Cooper Countryman S all 4. Let's look at this. Now that's the one that still was in her name. I'm pretty sure that was the one. Or it looked like it was still in her name. Right. I don't think that's it either, though. 2012. Nope, it's not that either. Guarantee it, it's not that either. Because this is a 2012. Let me show you this. I'll show you this right here. Here we go. No, just one truck. The other truck is out of their name, I'm pretty sure now. It was once in their name. This is not the same as this. And this is more curved. This is more boxy. Way more boxy. Yeah, he had a chest plate from they must spin a wheel each day to figure out which car they drive. Well, all right, look at this. You see how boxy this is right through here? Now let me show you something. Just bear with me 2 seconds so I can exit out. I have so many windows open right now. It's pathetic. Let me show you this. Did I exit out of it? Okay, here it is. See how that is boxy it is? Now look at this. See, this is rounded back here. I think it's a Mitsubishi. Outlander, maybe. No, it's not an Outlander. It's a Mitsubishi. It's a, hold on. It's the little car. Vehicles. Mirage. Mitsubishi. No, it's not that either. 17. Maybe it's I don't know, guys. Honda crossover. To me, it looks like it's no, not a Tesla. AVIO. What's an AVIO? I've never heard of an AVIO. AVIO. Oh, like a Chevrolet? Hmm. I'm looking at this, but I don't think that that's either. They had a Saturn. I think Kathy had a Saturn one time. It looks like a Chevy emblem. This is Dan and I. Hey, Ida. Good to see you, dear. Good to see you. All right, guys. I'm gonna jump off. Oh God, I've got another live coming up. When is my other live coming up? Okay. I got another live coming up in 1 hour. 1 hour from now. So I'll be back in 1 hour. Another live. Yes. I'm getting them in today. I'm going to look at this. If anyone has any ideas, you can text me or email me. It's going to be on this channel. This channel. Okay. Yep, this channel. It'll be 8:30 Eastern. 8:30 Eastern. My third live. We are going to be talking about a very, very interesting case. Chelsea Grimm out of Arizona. You have a makeup question. What's your makeup question? Meep. Yeah, I could do that. Baby kisses. Bunny niece. It's definitely a smaller car. I couldn't figure it out. Titch. You keep changing your name. Color of lips today. It is this new stuff called Wet and Wild. It's really cheap, but it's really popular. Soft blur in the color I'm Shy. Read text. Where's my text at? Google Voice. Bear with me. Try Kia Soul. It might be a Kia Soul. I just looks like looks different. I don't know. All right, guys. I will see you guys in a little bit. Love you. Meep, did you see your question? Did you put Vicks directly on your face or mix it with your moisturizer? Vicks. I don't put Vicks on my face. Why would I put Vicks on my face? Like Vicks cough stuff? I thought about that, but it's too blurry. Are you talking about Bag Balm? Now, Bag Balm, I put beside my bed and I put it on my lips at night. Thank you, my dear. Scooter really has you thinking. I don't put that on my face, babe. Blue Fi at 1400. To me, the Fiat looks the closest, but that's just me. All right, guys. I'll hurt you later. Love you guys. Bye-bye.